Hope is here. The way to break free with your host, Angela Pedigo, will light a flame within you. Host Angela Pedigo is an author, speaker, and certified life recovery, grief, and joy restoration coach. Angela uses her own life experiences to help you navigate and guide you to success. She also has developed tools that incorporate her faith and her drive to overcome any obstacle in life. So please welcome the host of The Way to Break Free, Angela Pedigo.
Welcome, everybody, to The Way to Break Free. I am your host, Angie Pedigo. I'm so glad you could join us today. I have my special guest, Miss Kristi Carter, here today. Kristi has an amazing story of what it's like to be a mom with a child who's battled addiction, the highs, the lows, the ups and downs. So, you may be able to relate to that. The beautiful part of it is the journey, getting through all of that, the victories. And now Kristi gets to work in the recovery field herself as well. She serves as a human resource manager for an amazing recovery home called Romans 828 Ministries, which is local here to us. So, Kristi, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that you were willing to come on today.
Thank you.
Can't wait to hear all this. She and I were talking before we went live, and the lanes that this could go down there's no telling where we're going to end up. So let's just start, Kristi, by you telling us a little bit about you. Give us the backstory.
I myself personally, I'm from Macon County. I've been here all my life, 47 years old. I've been married twice.
Got two kids,
two wonderful daughters,
yes.
23 and 15.
Yes. Nice. So yeah, tell us how this journey began.
Well, in 2016, my 23-year-old now, I could tell she was rebellious. I could tell she had kind of just separated herself from her family and those that loved her the most.
Now, how old was she then?
She was 15.
Okay.
And she was always raised. She was raised in church. She had a loving home, had all the, everything she needed, love. We've got a good family support system, lots of friends. But she was rebellious. I could see a change in her. And then when she started driving, it escalated. Very distant from those that loved her. In 2019, she moved out after she graduated high school.
Mm-hmm.
And for 2.5 years, she was on meth. And I would call, she wouldn't answer. I would text her. It would be 2 or 3 weeks before I would get a reply.
That had to be so trying.
Very trying. Growing up, me and Ash had a good relationship, very good relationship. And then it went from good to the worst you could imagine.
What do you think was the start of that for her? Because, I think parents don't understand a lot of the signs to look for, or a lot of the maybe. When we're teenagers, we don't like to share a lot with our families. So.
Right. I'm not judgmental at all, but
Mm-hmm.
I seen that she was hanging out with kids she shouldn't have been hanging out with.
Mm-hmm.
And I would tell her, but, kids, they're going to, well, Mom, they're my friend.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that's where it started, was the crowd she was around.
The influence.
She's very easily influenced, talked into anything. So yes, I think that's where it began.
Okay. And so what were the things that were going on that were warning signs to you that something's off? Like, how could you tell?
I caught her in several lies. And I would tell her she would always have a curfew. She'd be late. I've been in town many a nights chasing that kid down. Yeah, the lies, the distance in yourself, not wanting to face mom, just not wanting to be around the family.
Yeah. I sitting here thinking about that. You chasing her around town.
Yes.
Yeah. Did that happen a lot?
It happened a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just instinct. Just knew you had to go find
I
her.
was going, yes, and I did. Yes. Yeah.
Mama Bear's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or she would text and say she'd be on her way. And then, I could not sleep until my child was in the house and I knew she was safe. So she didn't show up. Then I'd call, I'm on my way now. I'm like, no, I'm going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That had to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
That had to be tough. A lot of sleepless nights.
A lot of sleepless nights. A lot. When it was so bad, seeing your child like that, you just want to give up.
Mm-hmm.
I went through a divorce, so it was me and Brooke, which she's 8 years younger than Ash. And I just wanted to sit in the corner of my sectional and cry. But how fair was that to Brooke? How fair was that when she didn't do anything to deserve this? So I felt like that one little lost sheep, that just couldn't find her way. But with God by my side, I did.
Yes, ma'am.
I had to get up. I had to go to work every day. I had to provide for Brooklyn because that's what I had to do.
Yeah. That's a great reference. We think about the lost sheep being our child that's in addiction, which they are, but you as the parent are also that lost sheep that he's going to come after.
Exactly. I didn't want to face the world because I wasn't ashamed, but you talk about it every day. And you just want to make it through one day and not discuss it or not talk about it. And you just finally have to give it to God.
Now, did you talk about it like you were, did it help you to talk about it, or was it just people asking you?
I was never ashamed of it, and never was I the mother that said my child would not do that. Never was I ashamed of it. But it got tiresome, But if anybody asked me, yes, I would tell them, and I didn't care to discuss it.
Yeah. What was it like for you when you first figured out this is addiction? Like, something's off probably before you realize that it is addiction related. But what was it like in that moment?
Very heartbreaking. I knew nothing about drugs. Very heartbreaking. And you just want to save them, but you don't know how. Very heartbreaking.
Yeah.
To think that your own child would put that in her body,
Yeah. Wow.
And as a mother, you feel like, where have I failed? Where did it go wrong? What did I do wrong?
Yes, that's a common feeling among parents a lot of times, where they want to blame themselves. And I think it's natural. That's a natural go-to.
Yeah, it is.
The thing that I find stumbles a lot of parents up is that sometimes it's easier, or I won't say easier, but I wonder sometimes if parents stay in denial about the situation because they're afraid it's going to be a reflection on them. So, kind of like the ostrich approach, you bury your head in the sand. Maybe if I don't look at it, it'll go away.
Right.
But the thing is to not fear that, like to not fear. It doesn't matter the why. And generally it's not what is in your worst nightmares anyway. It doesn't matter the why. they got there. The point is that they're there. And,
Right. And we need to fix it.
Yeah. Yeah. Were you said you would talk to anybody about it.
Mm-hmm.
There are parents who won't talk about it. They won't talk about it. They won't share it. They won't speak up about it's a burden and it's a need. And,
Right.
the Bible teaches us that Jesus says, cast your cares on me because he cares for us, And, but when we don't do that, like we're
Right.
forfeiting the army of people that could start praying for them.
That's exactly right. And that's what I told you earlier. I knew the more people I told, the more prayers that were going up for her. And that's what got her to where she's at today.
Would you encourage parents to talk about it?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And no matter how you feel, I know it's tiresome every day, and I know they ask about her out of love, only love.
Yes.
So, yes, I encourage all the parents to talk about it.
How, you were talking about, you were the lost sheep and, he helped you through that time. What was that like? Like how was your relationship with Jesus through that time?
I know he was there with me through it all, but there was so many days I felt like it was just me and him.
Mm.
And the whole world was closed in on me.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yes.
Were you angry?
I was very angry.
Yeah.
Every emotion you can imagine, I went through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was angry.
Were you angry at God?
I was never angry at God. Never. Because God didn't do it.
Right. Yeah. Was there times where you just were like, God, but when? But how long?
Yes, and that's anybody that knows, I have no patience whatsoever. None. So, I prayed every day, several times a day, just bring my baby back. She don't have to live under my roof. I just want her clean.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was all in his time, and it wasn't mine at all.
That's a hard thing to surrender to,
is.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you go to bed and you don't know if she's had a meal that day or she's laying, if she's had a bath or any of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The periods of not knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's talk about your relationship with God. Where did that start for you? How did you come to know God? Because, you had him in that moment.
When I was saved as an 11-year-old girl.
Tell us about that.
I was at a revival at Rocky Hill, the church I grew up in. Mm-hmm. I had on a little hand-me-down dress, not a penny in my pocket. And on a Wednesday night, I went to the altar and I didn't get saved. But on Thursday night, I went back and I got saved that night, October the 6th, 1988.
That's when your relationship started.
Yes. And if I didn't know God in her addiction, I couldn't have made it.
Yeah.
I could not have made it through that valley.
Yeah. I don't know how people face the
trials and tribulations in this world. No.
Yeah.
Because I wore him out.
And he'll let you.
Yes.
He has no stopping point.
Yes. I wore him out every day.
We have to. That's what he wants, is our to know where our help comes from.
Right.
Yeah. Did this whole thing, as painful as it was, grow your faith in God?
Yes, very much so. Yes, it did.
Yeah.
I feel a lot stronger to God today than I did 10 years ago.
I would imagine that you feel like you can face anything at this point.
I do.
Yeah. That's a big testimony.
I might be a little overwhelmed in the process, but yeah, I have faith.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's good stuff. Well, we're going to pause right here for a minute and take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
We're back from the break, and Kristi, I wanna talk about those years where you were having to let her just blaze her trail with this addiction. Like there was nothing you could do. What did you do? Like when I asked this question, I want to get into that. Did you have to set boundaries
Definitely.
around your home, around you? Like that is a really, really, really hard thing for parents to do. So how did you be mom through that?
I never enabled her. I never gave her money. She knew she was not allowed under my roof for multiple reasons. But the main one is I had Brooke. I still had Brooke at home. You know, I still wouldn't have allowed it. But no, I did not enable her at all.
And when you say she wasn't allowed in your home,
she could come
her
visit,
habit wasn't.
But her habit was not. But she didn't even visit me.
Yeah.
Very rarely did she visit because she knew.
Was that hard?
It was very hard. Holidays without her, her birthdays, you know, and usually I went through a holiday and not even spoke to her because she wouldn't answer the phone. As I said earlier, you know, I would text her and it would be 2 or 3 weeks before she would reply. Birthdays without her, Mother's Day without her, all those things.
Yeah. Did she ask a lot from you during her addiction days, like for money and for things?
No.
Yeah, because she just knew.
She knew.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a big lesson there to learn.
And it hurts.
Yeah.
Because as a mom, because they're not going to say, hey, Mom, can I have money for drugs? They're going to have an excuse that they need something. But she didn't do that. But as a mom, when they need something, you want to help. But you just have to cut all that off because I wasn't putting that in her body. I wasn't going to be the one to buy that for her.
And ultimately, that's what happens. You know.
Because in the end, that's where the money's going to go.
Yeah. Yeah, we do this thing with parents sometimes where at the center where if you're giving money for gas, or giving money so they can get somewhere, but it's freeing up the other money, especially if they're working, to support the habit.
Yeah.
And that's hard, but it's so hard to tell your child no, especially when you perceive there's a need and
Right.
they, share that there's a need, but in the back of your mind that money's not going to go to that need.
Exactly.
And that's really, really
And
hard.
it's a hard no.
It's a hard
But
no.
it's something you have to do.
It's tough love.
Yeah. And that's what I've told everybody. I'd always heard about tough love, but you don't understand it until you have to live it.
Mm-hmm. Was it hard for you to muster that up, or is tough love something that comes easier for you?
It was hard.
Yeah.
Because I'm the type that wants to just give to any and everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So it was hard, especially at being your own child.
Yes. Yeah. So let's talk about the turning point what was the turning point for her? Tell me about that.
So she was in a very abusive relationship. They were in addiction together. She thought she loved him. He was the greatest thing ever. But she called one night, and the most beautiful voice I have ever heard in my life. And she said, "Mom, I'm done.
Oh,
Can you please come pick me up?" And I'm like, "Yes, let me get my keys." And I'm bawling. And I was already halfway down the road. I got her, brought her home, and I was not going to force any recovery on her, but I knew that's what I wanted,
Mm-hmm.
But I knew if she didn't go her way, it would not work. So, well, let me back up. So this was in November, but prior to that, in April of that year, I drove her to Chicago for a 30-day program, which I do not recommend to anybody. It takes at least 12 months to heal.
Mm-hmm.
She did good for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and she was right back with him, going down the same road. So then November, she called right before Thanksgiving, and I went and got her, and we woke up. We always have coffee together. Well, we do now, but
Before.
Yes. So she said, "Mom, can we talk?" And I said, "Most definitely." And she said, "I'm ready for some rehab." Praise Jesus.
All those prayers were paying off.
I said, "Okay." So this was maybe Thursday or Friday. On Sunday, she found Miss Tammy's number, and she called Miss Tammy herself, and she's like, "Well, honey, we'll get you in, but it'll be tomorrow," which would be Monday. And Ash said, "Okay." Well, when she hung up, she's like, "Mom, I can't wait. I cannot wait till Monday. I need to go today." And I said, "Well, call her back." And she did. And by 6:00 that night, I had her at Romans 828 Ministry, and it was a blessing. The God in Romans and Miss Tammy. It was just a blessing.
Yeah.
A blessing to see where we had been and where she was.
Yeah. That had to make you feel so much better that she was
to know
begging for it to that
yes.
much. Yeah.
And that was the first night she was there, was the best sleep I'd had in I don't know how long.
So what was different? What was different from the decision months before to go to Chicago versus the decision?
I don't think
now
she
to
was
go
ready.
Yeah.
I really don't think she was ready to go.
She just wasn't done.
No, she was not done. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Now that she had not called you to say she was done at that point when she went to Chicago, right?
No.
Was that by more your direction or her direction?
Well, no, she had came home and wanted help, but it was different. Her done was different
Her
when she
voice.
decided to go to Romans. Yes,
Yeah.
um, and she had even took some classes with
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
before Romans, and um, she was just still not sure.
Yeah. I'm so proud of her persistence.
Me too. Me too. But for me to lay down that night, the first night she was at Romans, just to know I knew where she was. I knew she was going to get 3 meals a day, um, a shower, learn about Jesus, you know,
Yeah.
um, people that loved her and wanted the best for her.
Yeah.
It was a blessing.
Did you not realize? I mean, you know that it's taken such a huge physical toll on your body, but when you got that first night's rest, did you realize
Oh,
then just how much the
it
toll
was,
was?
yes, it was like, it was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So what was that like for her? Was it easy? Like, were there times that she ever wanted to like give up? Because I know a lot of times people don't want
At
to go.
Romans, she called me twice, I think, and wanted to come home. But as bad as I wanted her home, I told her, I was like, no, you're where you need to be. And now she thanks me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mama, for not coming to get me.
They'll always come back and thank you for that tough love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that hard to tell her no?
Oh my goodness. Yes, because yes, when your kid, but if you know it's in their best interest, again, that's tough love. You've got to do what's best for them.
Yeah. Yeah. So how old was she at that point?
She was 21.
21.
It was 2021. She's 20.
20.
She was the baby of the program.
Yeah.
So
you had 5 years of the running
5
this addiction
years
with her.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So she's in there. She's a year-long program. What happens for her? Are you watching this transformation in her?
Oh my! And the first visit we had together was awkward, and she'll tell you that it was. I was very thankful for it. I didn't miss a visit. It was awkward though because we had lost 5 years. We were living 2 totally different lives than what we were before.
Mm-hmm.
Conversation was hard.
Was it like you were having to learn her all over again?
Yeah, it was. And she'll tell you the same thing. But after a few visits, because our relationship was bad, it was good up till addiction, very rocky, and then it got just bad. There was really no relationship.
Yeah.
Today, it's awesome. She'll tell you she wants my decision or my input on everything.
Oh.
We are very close, very close. She says she's codependent of her mama. It's really awesome, and I owe God all the praise for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
To see where she was and to see where she's at today. It's a blessing.
Yes. What do you think was the biggest turning point for her while she was in the program?
Definitely getting saved.
Ooh, tell us about that.
So what held me together during her addiction was I thought she was saved as a little girl. So one night while she was in the program, they had been to a revival at Hilltop.
Mm-hmm.
And she calls me just bawling and, Mama, I gotta tell you. I'm like, what is it? And she said, I got saved tonight.
Oh.
So I'm thinking, I thought you were already saved. Let's just talk about this. And she said, no, I really wasn't, Mama, as a little girl.
Wow. First you were hearing of it.
Yes. But that's what held me together because you don't want to think of it as if something happens to your child, they're going to heaven.
Yeah.
But that's what held me together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I am so thankful
Yeah.
that he held her in his hands during all
Yes.
that. But yeah,
That's them prayers.
yeah,
That's those prayers being prayed
yes,
over her.
yes, definitely.
Yeah. So she was just filled up when she called.
She was filled up, and she's still filled up today.
Aw,
Yes.
that's
If you don't want
awesome.
to hear about Jesus, don't be around her.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So she made it through the program, year-long program, right?
Yes.
And how long has she been out now?
She graduated November of 22. She's been clean almost 3 years next month.
That is awesome. What
3
a
years.
victory.
Yes.
That is amazing. So what's life like for you guys now?
It is a true blessing. I mean, a blessing. You know, there's ups and downs with everything.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect life by no means, but she is going to Ball State to be an RN.
Oh,
this is her
nice.
second month. She just enrolled this semester. She works for full time in a nursing home. Loves it. She loves taking care of the elderly.
Aw.
Yes, her passion is nursing.
That is awesome.
Yeah, she don't miss nothing with the family. My little one, she plays ball. She don't like to miss a game. Sometimes she has to with school. But yeah, life is grand.
And coffee every morning.
Coffee
with Mom.
every morning with Mom. We talk every morning.
Would you have ever thought that would be the case?
No. And sometimes when we're sitting there, I'm just like, thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, I just look at her and yeah.
Just surreal.
Yeah.
Almost.
Text during the day, 2 or 3, you know, how grateful she is for me and that I was there for her through all of it. And, you know, I talked earlier about me blaming myself. You know, she's reassured me several times that it was nothing I did. She made all those choices on her own. Yeah.
Wow. What a hope. What a hope for
Yes,
people who
there
are
is hope.
listening.
There is hope.
Especially if you've got a loved one that's in addiction. That is so beautiful. It's amazing what God can do when He gets involved.
Oh my goodness.
Just try it.
Oh,
I dare you.
Goodness. Yes.
We're going to take another quick break and we'll be right back.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality? But it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating. Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. Yeah, it feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
We're back from the break, and I Kristi, I want to dive down the road of, we know what Ashley's doing now. So like, it's just beautiful. Like what God has restored so much.
Mm-hmm.
And now to see what you do. So tell us how you got to working for Romans. Like, what happened there? How did you get to come on board their work?
So I felt like I owe it. I owe it to Romans and God, obviously, for giving my baby back to me. I know how it feels to be that mama. And if I can help one person, if I can say something or do something to help one person, it's worth it all to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it. It can be trying sometimes, but I love what I do.
So did you go to work there when she was still there?
No, she was out already.
She was out?
Yeah.
So the opportunity presented itself, and
here we are.
Here we are.
Yes.
So tell us what you get to do with those in the program.
I'm human resources. I do payroll for our staff. I also do monthly safety meetings. I help them get their GED. We've actually had 5 to get their GED already.
Oh.
I'm actively working with 7 or 8 more at the moment. That does my heart so good because they never thought they would get that chance again.
Isn't that a great feeling?
Oh my goodness.
When you just see the light come on inside of them that, hey, I can do this.
Or they think, several of them have told me, I'm going to try, but I don't think I can do it. And I've seen it. They walked across the stage and they got their diploma. It really does my heart good.
Yes.
I love it. I do that. I do financial classes
with the residents.
Yes, I'm fixing, and if they want a bank account before they graduate, I go and help them set their bank account up.
That's awesome.
I am fixing to start family support group meetings because I don't know the addiction side of it, but I know the mama side of it.
Yes.
So I'm really excited about that.
Tell us about that. When's that going to start?
I'm not certain yet. Probably within the next month or so, I'd say. And I may have to do like 2 meetings a month to get all of the families involved. But I'm really excited about that.
That's exciting.
Sometimes just knowing there's somebody you can talk to, or, another listening ear that's going through the same thing is a lot of help.
Did you have that when you were battling this phase with her?
I did have a few people, and it helps. It helps.
You probably have a lot of people that might not know what it's like, but you had a few who
had went through it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my closest friends had never been through it. They were there for me, but they couldn't relate. And it's better when you can talk to somebody and relate on what each other's going through.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how much encouragement you can give. Yeah. I'm just amazed at how you, being that parent and how that tough love, and you were able to set the boundaries, and ultimately those things help save their life.
Yeah.
They really do.
And at the time you don't realize it. You question, am I doing the right thing?
Mm-hmm.
But you have to. You cannot enable them.
It's for their benefit. Like if you think about it, it's for them. It's for their benefit.
Right.
To show them love that way, to help them not hurt themselves any further. Yeah.
And I'm so thankful today that ours was a success story.
Yeah. Yeah. Will you be able to like help other parents when you start the class and stuff? Will you be able to help other parents?
Oh, yeah.
That?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That is really good.
Yeah.
So do you have, in what you do, I guess you have a lot of interaction with the people in the program.
Yes, I do. Actually, I transport, like if the men have doctor's appointments, Tina takes them to
Yeah.
court, but I usually do doctor's appointments or, well, like I said, like Ball State. We're going to Ball State Friday to
Yeah.
do GED testing, but yeah, I do.
What is it like on those car rides?
It can be interesting. But we talk a lot about Jesus, you know.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good to hear their stories and where they've come from and are thankful for where they're at today.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Does listening to them and all their different stories help you understand addiction a little
it does.
better? Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Which now today, Ash is open and she's talked to me about everything that she went through and you know it, and we can talk about it today.
So she helps like educate you
Yes.
about it. Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of parents don't get that.
Yeah.
They don't get that from their child.
The why, I
Yeah.
still don't know. I don't know really what led her down that road.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't go on wondering.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just thankful for where God's brought her today.
God's already
for a while
covered
I did. You know, why? What caused this?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just thankful.
Yeah. Just living
Just
it
thankful.
out. Just living it out. Well, tell us about Romans. Because there's a lot of people who will be watching that, are around this area. And even if they weren't, they could still find Romans. People go out of state a lot of times for their recovery. So tell us about Romans 8:28 ministry.
Romans 8:28 ministry was founded in 2018 by Miss Tammy Lum.
Who's been a guest on here, by the way. You should go back and watch her episode. It is really good.
Yes, it is. She is a wonderful woman of God. We are a 12-month faith-based program.
Mm-hmm.
We have a men's house and a ladies' house. We house 20 residents at each home.
Yeah. And they stay for a year.
A year.
Yeah.
Yes, we are 12-month. We offer classes. We do the 12-step, we offer several other classes they do with them. A lot of church.
Yes. A lot of good stuff there.
Right.
That is really, really good. So yeah, you can search them out, Romans 8:28 Ministries in Lafayette, Westmoreland area. And it's a really good program. A lot of good success comes out of that too. So when they leave, they have their job. When they graduate, they've got their jobs going.
Right.
You guys help them get transitioned.
And they can go into what we call our transitional home. And usually, yes, they are offered a full-time job when they leave.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That is amazing. There's been a lot of people go through that program.
Yes. I think our success rate is 85%.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That's what God can do.
And, yep, that's exactly right.
What's your favorite part about Romans?
Favorite part?
Mm-hmm. Loaded question. Like, pick one. How do you pick one?
I don't know, really. There are so many.
You've got to love what you do every day.
I do love what I do every day. I guess when you see somebody come in that is so broken, and you see that mama that has just lost hope, but you see, and I just experienced this week, and when that mama hugs you and thanks you, it ain't me though, it's God. I know how she's going to sleep that night. I've been there. And that's what I said. I said, honey, you go get you some rest. But when you see that and then you see them 6 months down the road, and they're doing good and they're talking about Jesus and they're at a place in their life they never thought they would be.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's about to me.
Yeah. Sometimes some of them just need somebody to believe in them.
Yes, exactly.
And they'll find that there.
Yes.
They'll find that there where people here believe in me.
Yeah.
Even when I don't believe in myself, you stand in the gap and you believe for them.
Right.
Yeah. That just goes along with the story in the Bible, you know?
Just to know that everybody hasn't given up on them.
Yes.
You know, that there's somebody rooting for them.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take another quick break and we'll be right back.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
We're back from the break, and as we were talking on the break, you know, the story comes to me about the prodigal son in the Bible, you know, and I think about, and this is one thing that I have to tell parents a lot, you know, when we're coaching is if you really pay attention to all the people involved in that story, you know, you have the dad, you have the brother who's trying to do the right thing.
Right.
You have the brother who comes and says, I want all my inheritance now. Peace out. I'm leaving, and goes and lives his life. Of course, back then, you know, in the Bible days, they didn't have cell phones. They didn't have phones. They couldn't, you know, that dad couldn't go chase that child around everywhere.
Right.
You know, you don't know how far away did he go and where all did life's roads take him and all the sleepless nights that dad must have had. And, you know, I envision sometimes thinking, I wonder if people, as they would see him out somewhere, you know, or as they would see him wherever he was, if they ever saw his father and said, hey, I saw your son and he's not well, or he's not this, he's not that, or whatever. And longing, even if he didn't know how he was living his life, even if the dad didn't know anything about how that son that had left was living his life, to be waiting for him to come home, to be waiting for him to just show up one day and say, I'm ready. And, you know, when you were talking about her calling you and said, Mom, come get me, I'm ready.
Right.
You know, I'm done. That prodigal son had to be done with his lifestyle, with his way of living. He, like you said, you don't know if they've eat. He was looking at pig slop, was, you know, the thinking that's the only thing I'm going to be able to find to eat. And I'll just go back and ask my dad to let me work for him, or, you know, he'll just put me as a hired hand. It'll be better than this. And for her, I can't imagine, you know, I replay that in my mind a lot. that story of how, it's like he rolled up on a chariot or in a
Right.
car or something like that, but for that dad to be standing there and watching him, is that him coming over the rise over there? Is that him coming home? Oh my goodness, that's my boy.
Mm-hmm.
And here he rolls up, dirty, probably smelling like pigs. That's what he was tending to, and had just no telling what kind of shape. And he's going to get the robe and kill the fatted calf and let's have a celebration. And my son has come home. He was lost. He's found. He's come home.
Praise God.
Praise God. Praise God. That moment of contact when that dad could grab a hold of that son for the first time.
I feel that.
And know my boy is home because he wants to be.
Right.
What was that moment like for you?
Oh my goodness. Prior to, even our hugs were different. That we would hug, but it wasn't that love.
Mm-hmm.
There was something missing.
Mm-hmm.
But when I grabbed her and hugged her that night, it was the most awesome feeling. I knew in my heart that her life was fixing to turn around. I knew she was ready. I felt that love again.
She's able to give that back to
you. She
you.
hugged me before because she felt she had to, being her mom. She was ready. She was ready. It was amazing.
Is it one of them just fall into you kind of hugs?
Yes.
And just
Yes. I'm ready. I'm ready to do better, Mom.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the lies. I'm sorry for the manipulation. I'm sorry that I never listened to you. You were right all along, And I'm not always right, but I knew I was right about a lot of things that she disagreed with.
And it's okay. Let them disagree with you.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Sometimes they have to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
As bad as it hurts as a mom, sometimes they've got to hit rock bottom.
Yes.
And be in that valley.
And there's never, the name of Romans 8:28 Ministries could not be more fitting.
Oh, amen.
Because that verse, if you don't know it, go look it up. He will work all things, not the good things, all things for the good of those who believe.
That's right.
Who are called according to his purpose. He will take all the brokenness. He will take all the pain. He will take all those sleepless nights.
Yes.
And he will put them into purpose, but you just have to let him.
And
you have to invite him in. He goes where he gets invited. So if we don't have that relationship with him to invite him into those places, we are forfeiting the thing that we're hoping for the most. He's the only one who can. He's the only one who can.
And the verse, faith as small as a mustard seed, I held on to that. I held on to that through it all. And I never lost faith. And I had hope that God would bring my baby back one day.
Yeah. You see, if you ever seen how tiny a mustard seed looks, it looks like a little ink dot. But if you ever pull up what a mustard tree looks like, and you think it started from that, man, if that little bit of faith can.
I actually carried one with me through all that.
Oh, that is awesome.
I did.
That's awesome. Reminder, we all need them.
Yeah.
I want to thank you, Kristi, for coming on today.
You.
If you could leave listeners with anything, what would it be?
Faith, as small as a mustard seed. Definitely cling to God. Pray.
Yeah.
Have people to pray.
Yes.
Prayer changes everything. Don't lose hope. Hang on.
Yes. That is some good advice there, y'all, from a mama who's been there. So, if you all are listening today and you know people that are struggling in that same aspect, please share this with them and like and subscribe so that you can be notified each week on Bold Brave TV when we go live. That way, you won't miss one of these episodes where you can find inspiration and hope from people who have been there, done that, and this is how they're getting out of it. So, I hope you guys have a blessed week. Thank you to Bold Brave TV, and we'll see you next time.
This has been The Way to Break Free with your host, Angela Pedigo. The one thing Angela attributes her personal victories to is her relationship with God and her deep faith. Tune in each week and hear stories and testimonies of people in personal and professional trenches and how they overcome them with their own faith in God. The Way to Break Free has something for everyone, everywhere. Right here, Wednesdays, noon Eastern on the Bold Brave TV network.